All right. Hello, everyone in Facebook world. It's a beautiful Tuesday afternoon here at Macon Music, and this is Local Live. I'm your host, Ashley Marie of the local band Vinyl Rhino, and I'm super excited about my guest today. He has toured in over 70 countries, very accomplished bassist. Mr. Scott Ambush is joining us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Ashley. It's great.
I'm delighted to have you. Your reputation precedes you because I'm actually just now meeting you, and I've heard about you pretty much since I moved to Frederick as someone who you were born in Urbana, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, born in Frederick, actually, at Frederick Memorial
Frederick,
Hospital.
go FMH. This is a couple
yeah.
blocks away.
Yeah, exactly.
From here making music.
Yeah, there were no hospitals in Urbana when I was.
No hospitals in Urbana.
Still no hospitals in Urbana.
I was going to say, I think they're moving on up. They've got like a Wawa maybe.
Right.
That's like what's happening in Urbana. How long have you been playing?
Villages.
Oh yeah, the little tiny planned communities.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I'm driving through a development and
Yeah,
it's
it's
going
out
to
of
the
control.
place. So how long have you been playing?
Since I was 12.
Since you were 12 years
Yeah,
old. Wow.
yeah.
And always bass? Or what did you start on?
Yeah, well, you know, I wanted to be a drummer, and the band I wanted to join had two guitars, a drummer, and a keyboardist, and so the only instrument left to play was bass, and you know, 12 years old, you don't get left out.
Yeah.
So is that, you need a bass player? I'm a bass player.
That you're the man.
Yeah.
What was the band called?
It was called, oh God, you would have to, Blue Moon.
Blue Moon. Oh, that's a good band. Sounds a little country. What kind of music did you play?
It was all rock and roll.
All
It
rock.
was,
Okay.
Hendrix, Black Sabbath, Alice Cooper.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Very
It was
fun.
Yeah.
So cool. So who are some of your influences from then and now?
Well, since you bring that up, I mean, as far as, I mean, I had local influences. My first guitar teacher or bass teacher was Steve Hissey.
Oh, cool.
He still teaches here in Frederick. And probably one of my biggest influences from that era was Wayne Smith. Everyone knows him as Hot Dog. He's a guitarist. I remember going to see him play in Baker Park.
Oh.
And, you know, note for note rendition of Voodoo Child. I still remember that. It was just like, that's what I want to do, you know. So, and then when, you know, I started playing bass, started listening to more, you know, national artists and stuff like that. It was, early on, it was Larry Graham.
Okay.
You know, from Sly and the Family Stone, Louis Johnson, then, you know, and James Jemerson for all the Motown stuff. And then when I started getting into jazz, it was Stanley Clarke and Abraham Laboriel and Jaco Pastorius, and everybody was influenced by Jaco. Although it's funny because I made a concerted effort not to learn anything that Jaco played because if
Why,
he did,
why was that?
well, it was so influential and had such an amazing style that anytime I learned anything he played, I would get on the gig and I would play like that. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like really, I mean,
Easy to be
you
a
start
little too
hearing
influenced.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then you don't find your own style
Exactly.
that way. It's
But
so
it was
true.
interesting, when he died, I went back and I listened to everything that I could find that he was on, and it was really kind of an eye-opening thing. And I realized that there are a lot of, he still influenced me anyway, even though I didn't.
You
tried
tried to stop it, but you can't
Yeah,
help it.
yeah,
Well, that's okay. I
Yeah.
think that's how we
Well,
kind
you
of
know,
find our own style.
Yeah,
is
and you
figuring
get
who
it
we
by
wanna
osmosis
emulate.
as opposed
Right.
to mimicry, so.
Oh, that's brilliant. So I'm just checking to see if anybody has any questions yet. It's taken a minute just to pull up on my phone here. It looks like we have a couple of people joining us locally. So feel free, guys, to jump in with your questions. I know we've been getting a lot of shout outs, but we haven't been getting as many questions lately. So let's see. I don't see anything just yet.
Nobody cares.
Everybody cares. It might just be my phone going slow, though. Well, I'll keep asking some of mine in the meantime.
Okay.
So something that we talked about, and I was excited and introduced you with this, is how many countries you've toured in, you've played in, which is super neat. And this is with your band, which is
Spyro
contemporary jazz,
Mhm.
Spyro Gyra.
Yeah.
Spyro Gyra. Being in Vinyl Rhino, I'm like, that's hard. It rolls off the tongue very
Right, that's
nicely.
it. Vinyl Rhino,
Spyro
Spyro Gyra.
Gyra. And so tell us about that, about being a professional traveling musician, not just on a local level, but you're, I think, the first guest we've had who's obviously been international, which is awesome.
I mean, it's great. I mean, that's one of the true blessings of doing what I do, is I've been able to go places I never would have gone otherwise. I mean, who goes to Bandung, Indonesia, you
I was going to ask for like your most obscure place, and I think that's probably
That's probably one of them. Yeah, yeah. All over in Indonesia, you know, the Pacific Rim, South America. Finally got to go to Australia last year.
Australia. Where did you play in Australia?
We played in Melbourne.
Cool.
Yeah, and that was really cool. Long flight, but it was really cool.
Yeah, how long were you there
That one was good because we did 4 nights, I think 4 or 5 nights at the same club. It's a place called Bird's Basement, which is similar to the Blue Note in New York.
Oh, very cool.
A jazz club.
Yeah.
Really nice. And so actually, you know, you go in, fly down, get there a day early. The day of the first show is sound check, so that day's all taken up. And then after that, I just have to show up at 8 o'clock for the show.
Oh, so you actually do get some time to go around and see things.
So yeah, so I did some running and went to, you know, saw some of the sites in Melbourne. People there are really great. People said, you know, before I went, they said, oh, the people in Melbourne are really nice. And people say that about almost everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, the people, they make it. It's so wonderful.
Really nice.
You're like,
The people there are really nice.
I mean, and I think Frederick is like the nicest city.
Yeah.
So obviously, we have high standards here,
right,
coming
exactly.
from very friendly Frederick.
Exactly.
So we were talking about also like, and I was curious about like the language barrier. Like when you're touring in another country, and do they mostly speak English, or has there ever been like a time that it's been difficult because you didn't know the language?
Most of the places have a fairly good grasp of English. You know, it's an international language, or the international language of business, I guess. We're fortunate in that whenever we travel someplace like that, the promoter always assigns someone.
Oh, you have like a handler.
Yeah, handler.
That's
exactly.
cool. That's real celebrity, you know.
Someone meets us at the airport and arranges our schedule and stuff like that. Makes sure that we show up where we're supposed to show up.
Yeah.
Which I think is really the thing.
They're really, you're like a babysitter, not that you think that they're there for you, but
Yeah,
you're there for them. Yeah.
Exactly. They're dealing with musicians all the time. Although we have this thing called Spyro time, which is like 5 minutes early to virtually everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. Back in the day, they had before I joined the band, they had a policy that the last person down in the lobby had to pay money, and then at the end of the year, they would take all the money and they would do something with it. So,
Oh, wow.
So everyone worked hard to not be the last person, and it just kind of carried over. We don't do that anymore, obviously, but
Okay, so this is a jazz band
Mhm.
full of musicians, and you're all punctual.
always.
Like, that's amazing to me.
Always.
I think that's a good idea for if
Yeah.
there are, and I know there are a lot of musicians watching right now. I see some, hi Rob, hi Will, I see some folks online here. Yeah, that's a good idea. So you
Yeah.
pool the money,
Yeah.
and then you do something fun with it. How
Right.
much would it be? Like, how much would
I don't know.
I was the last one there.
I wasn't there. Oh, $5.
Yeah.
I think it was $5.
$5?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty hefty.
So yeah.
So don't get
you know,
caught,
a lot of shows, yeah.
touring too much, the city.
But you know, the thing is that, you know, ultimately everybody ends up being 30 minutes early.
Yeah, that's good. That's
so,
good.
So you have to put a window on it. You can't be more than 10 minutes early. You can't be the last person.
That's goals. I love it.
But, yeah.
So, what impression is it when you're performing, and I guess mostly with Spyro Gyra, what do you want to leave the audience with? Like, what's your goal when you go into a performance?
You know, I don't know if I have a specific goal or a conscious goal.
Okay.
But the thing we get all the time, I mean, virtually every show someone comes up to us and says, man, you guys just look like you're having so much fun.
Oh, that's great.
And it's true. I mean, we really do. I'm fortunate in that we have a new drummer who's been with us about 4 years. And prior to that, I was the new member. So those 4 guys, we've been together for so long. I mean, it's really like a brotherhood. I mean, everybody.
Very tight.
Yeah, it really
Imagine.
is. It
Musically
really is.
and
Musically
I would say
and
friendship
personally,
level,
I mean, yeah. And when we hired, we've had a number of drummers that have come outside of those 4. We always try to hire someone who fits in, you know, and our newest drummer, Lionel, fits in great. So, you know, when we're on the road, you know, if we have a day off, we usually end up doing stuff together, or in little groups of 2s and 3s, you know, we eat together, stuff like that.
Hey, while we're talking about it, do you want to go ahead and give a shout out and just tell us about some of the members of your band?
Yeah, the founding member is Jay Beckenstein.
Okay.
He founded the band in Buffalo when he was at UB in college. And then while he was there playing in the Buffalo scene, he met Tom Schumann, who was our keyboardist. Tom was 16 at the time, and a prodigy, a monster. And then Julio Fernandez, our guitarist, has been with the band for quite a while. He was born in Cuba.
In Cuba.
Yeah,
Cool.
he came here, you know, when Castro took over. He was about 8, I think. And then me. And then Lionel Cordew is our new
The new
drummer.
guy at
He's
4
the new
years
guy.
in. He's
4
still the
years
new
old.
guy,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
that's-
Well, I was a new guy until at 14 years, and that's when the drummer who was there a year before me
Oh, wow.
left.
Wow.
And then when he left, we got a new guy, and then I lost the new guy thing. But people say, how long? I say, I'm the newest member, and they say, how long have you been there? 14 years.
So
And
in all that
a long
time,
ago.
what's the most? We have two questions, and it's what's the oddest and what's the most memorable.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's the same.
Sometimes it's the same.
What's a gig that really sticks out for you?
The one that always comes to mind is Bandung, Indonesia. So we're playing in Bandung, and we're at this kind of a resort, and we're playing outside on this kind of a grassy hill, and there's a stage, and it's Indonesia, so it was a little, technically speaking, it was a little primitive.
Okay.
So first of all, our sound guy virtually had to repair every aspect of the hotel. I mean, of the PA.
Okay.
Was
Was that a Freudian slip, where the accommodations not what you were used to as well?
No, actually, the accommodations were great things.
You're like,
Yeah. So literally soldering wires, repairing things, hooking things up, stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
So this became a long day. We were
It's an
supposed to
engineer's
play-
worst nightmare.
Exactly. We were supposed to play at like 5 in the afternoon, 6 in the evening, something like that, before it got dark. It was going to be an
Yeah.
outdoor concert. People were there and everything. So this went on and on and on, a long, long, long day. So then we had to break for prayer because it's a Muslim country.
Okay.
So we broke for prayer, and then we came back, and it got so late that it got dark. So what they did was they literally got extension cords, and they went into the resort, and they got light fixtures, and they hung some of them, and some of them, there was a guy standing next to me with a light.
Oh my gosh,
holding a light
the
over my
lighting
head.
guys are just dying
Yeah,
right now
it's
watching
crazy.
this.
It was crazy, but it had to happen, And that same
Old
tour, we
school.
played Bali, and they put they put the stage on the beach. So they put the stage on the beach, it was black sand beach.
Sounds
and
beautiful.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
They miscalculated the high tide.
Oh gosh.
So by the time
Move the gear, move the gear.
well, they couldn't move the stage, so
Yeah.
what happened was tide came in, so they have these, they're trying to populate the stage with the gear and everything.
Yeah.
So the tide comes in, and they were standing there with the speaker, and the guy would go out, and they'd run out and put the
Oh,
speaker
no.
there. And by the time we went on, it was low tide, but the stage was literally at like a 10, 15 degree angle. I was standing with 1 foot like this.
Oh man.
It's crazy.
So that I would say that's pretty memorable.
Those are pretty
It's
memorable.
Like your beach,
Yeah.
your beach
And
moment.
you don't want to hear about the flights. Yeah.
Oh, we don't. Oh, the flights are no good.
No, but I've had some memorable flights too. Some incidents.
Do you? Okay, so that's and by the way, guys, I see a lot of people watching. I see. Oh, hey, Bill is on, and we've got Dan Purcell. Oh, Karen from the Reagan Years. Hey, Karen. And we got Mickey Valentine from the band As If. So a lot of cool local musicians watching. So please feel free to ask questions. We've got. We have him here live in
Amen.
the hot seat.
Amen.
And if your goals are also to travel abroad and to take your music to the next level, I would say you're the guy to talk to about that.
I might have something to say.
Some insight. So one of our questions relating to that, which I thought would be a cool one to ask you, is what is your favorite road food? So for you, it might be plane food or train food.
Virtually wherever I am, the local food. That's
Okay.
one thing that we love to do. Is
So no fancy restaurants or
No,
5-star
No,
dining.
we want to eat where the locals are. That's when you get the
What's your best local food experience you've ever had? Like you wake up dreaming about it. Like once you're back on American soil, I have to have the shrimp. I have to have the chicken in
Yeah.
Bali. Or
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Hard to
say.
pick.
Yeah. You just mentioned shrimp. I'll tell you, if you got a second, I'll tell you. a
Yeah,
funny story
go
about
ahead,
that.
yeah.
We're in Singapore, and we have a night off, and the promoter decides to take us to this famous seafood restaurant. It's huge, just massive place with tons of tables. And so we're there, and he decides to order a bunch of stuff for us because we're all looking at the menu. So he says,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'll order." And so he orders the drunken shrimp. And so that sounds good, right?
Yeah.
So the guy comes out with a little while later with a big round platter with a clear cover on it with a hole in it, And the shrimp are in there, and the shrimp are black. And I was like, wow, that's really weird, black shrimp. I've never seen black shrimp. And he takes a bottle of wine and pours it in the hole, and the shrimp start jumping around.
No.
And the table was silent. The table was completely silent. We're just like, what are we doing? And he saw how terrified we were, and he said, oh no, now he's going to take them back and cook them. He just wanted to show you that they were fresh.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to put this live, like a goldfish at the carnival kind
Exactly.
of deal. Like, like this is a dare that your handler's challenging you, and then you got to get on stage, no big deal.
Right. And you know, Thai soup with the chicken feet sticking out of it. I've got a million of them.
I can't handle it. I'm like favorite road food, Denny's. I'm like with Phil from last show, IHOP. Like we got Kimmy Smith from Southern Charm. We have Frankie G. Frankie is famous in his own right too. He's played some different countries. He's a guitar player. So I think it's about the time of the show that we should have you do a little performance.
Okay, sure.
For us. So this is going to be pretty fun. So hopefully we have some bass players watching since you're our first bass player. I think we've had on. So everybody enjoy. This is Local Live at Macon Music in downtown Frederick, and this is our guest, Scott Ambush.
Seems to not want to cooperate today.
I couldn't even tell. You're a pro. That was great.
Like I tried 4 times and I was like, okay, we're not going to use
Well,
that.
if you need new gear,
Here
I heard that they're having a rock and roll yard sale here on Saturday.
Maybe I'll sell that.
So there, you should. I think Scott, if you're here, it might be more of a pull. So what's going on is here at Macon Music, downtown Frederick, North Market Street. It's first come, first serve, but it's totally free. Come bring your old gear, your gear that you're just trying to swap out, get some new stuff, and yeah, rock and roll yard sale. So
Cool.
this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And are you gonna bring some stuff for us, maybe?
I might do that. I just found out about it today, but I got stuff.
Well, today's the time. Start taking inventory. If that's not working, you need something new.
Well, I can't pawn that off on
That's true.
someone else.
That's it. You're a good man. Scott Ambush, a man of honor, a man of the people. I think they'll be checking.
Yeah, it's got a head of mind of its own today. I don't know about that.
Well, cool. Well, that was beautiful. So since we started a little late here, we're just going to go a little late if that's okay
that's
with
fine
you.
with me.
You don't have a plane to catch or anything?
I don't, not
Okay.
today.
So do you play anywhere locally that we can come see you? I know Spyro Gyro tours, but do you have some local acts that you play with around
Yeah,
here?
I play regularly. Play every Sunday night in Bethesda.
Oh, that's close, yeah.
At the Harp and Fiddle
Harp and Fiddle
with
Bethesda.
Marianne Redmond.
Marianne
who's
Redmond.
a wonderful singer who's there. And actually, I'm sure a lot of people around here know her. She's
Yes,
does the bigger
I
part
definitely
concerts,
know
stuff like that a
Marianne
lot.
Redmond.
And then I just freelance outside of that. Spyro's coming to town.
Oh, when is that going to be?
Oh God, I should have looked that up.
Are you playing it Alive at 5?
Wait,
that
oh
with
yeah,
Spyro? Is that-
I'm
is
playing
that
Alive
you?
at
That's
5
you?
on August 9th.
August
with
9th,
my band.
Alive at 5, downtown Frederick.
Yeah, with my band. Then Spyro's coming to town. We're going to be playing the Ram's Head, the Hamilton, and
Oh, Hamilton in DC, beautiful
in
room.
DC.
We
Yeah.
played that room just a couple months ago.
Oh, cool.
Gorgeous,
Yeah, it's great, right? And the other one is Leesburg at the Tally Ho.
Wow, I was like, you've got
Tally Ho
this.
Theater. Yeah, I was.
Tally Ho. So we can find you. You have a website, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
we can
SpyroGyro.com.
link to it. You'll see all his stuff. So Spyro Gyro, check them out. And then locally on Sundays in Bethesda.
Mhm.
And then Alive at 5 August 9th. I think I'll try to make that one.
Cool.
Sounds good. So how do you approach playing with, I guess you would say, when you're the band leader
Right.
versus, like, you'll be at Alive at 5 versus stepping back and taking a role as either a band member or even in some cases, filling in and helping out a local band? How do you approach it differently as bassist?
For the most part, it's the same.
Okay.
The
you don't have-
bass,
you don't have to
the
be
bass
boss
role,
sometimes.
yeah, with the exception of the logistics of it, the bass role is the same. When I'm doing my own band, obviously, I take more of a lead role musically. I play songs where I play melodies, and there's probably more bass solos than there would otherwise be.
Oh, no way. I don't believe it.
So that's the difference. I mean, when you're sort of like side man, you're playing with someone else, you're there to support whatever it is
Right.
they want you to do. I've had some of that happen recently where, that's always the case, and sometimes it's more critical than others. And what you have to do is you really have to kind of take stock of what you think the person really needs from you, or what they're telling you they need.
Yeah.
Like I recently did 2 gigs, actually this past week, with Greg Karukas, who's a contemporary jazz keyboardist, Grammy-winning contemporary jazz keyboardist.
Oh, wow.
And who used to be from this area. He was born in Bowie, and he had a band called Natural Bridge way back in the early 80s. It was a well-known fusion band here. So anyway, working with Greg, he plays contemporary jazz, we could say smooth jazz. So it's he pretty much, on most of the tunes, he hires bassists to come in and do some of the recording, but he plays a lot of the bass parts himself on keyboards.
Can't do that live, unfortunately.
Right, exactly, exactly. But he really kind of orchestrates the interlocking of the parts. The bass line goes up a certain place, and then it stops, and there's a little guitar thing. It's like
He has the dynamics down. He
yeah,
knows the whole thing.
and so when I play with him, I've learned that I want to give the bass lines all the energy that they need and the groove that they need, but to be careful where I interject my own thoughts.
Yes.
Because
Yeah, you have to honor what he's created.
right, exactly,
Yes.
and like I said, he can be somewhat specific about it.
Well, I'm sure once you won a Grammy, you probably have the right to be specific
Well,
at that point.
whether or not you want a Grammy or not, you have the right to be. If it's your music, you have the right to be.
It's like your baby, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like no matter who you are, you have the right to expect that your music is honored, and no matter how famous you are, you don't have the right to be a jerk.
Very well said.
Or,
Very well said.
So there's these things where are we all still late? So these things where
It just became more intimate. We started taking the conversation deeper, and then the lighting crew
Right.
knew that we needed to just tone it down like that.
there's, like I said, there's sections or parts of the music where the bass line goes to a certain place and it's answered by the guitar part or a keyboard part. And so I had to kind of figure that out, you know. And once you figure that out, it becomes kind of a cool challenge, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you know, but you have to really listen.
Yeah, do your homework.
Yes, you have to do your homework. You have to really listen.
I guess it's good that you've been playing since you're 12. You learned all that.
Right, exactly.
All the basics, so you can come back to it. Let me see if we have any questions. Oh, great. Yeah, so, we have a shout out, Marianne Redmond. Everybody agrees. She's not on, but everyone's agreeing that she's a beast of a singer, Dan Purcell says. And he hasn't been down to Harp and Fiddle to catch a show in a while. So, Dan, sounds like your opportunity. You need to do that on a Sunday soon.
Get down there.
And he has a question. Do you have local side projects that you collaborate with or help influence? Do you work with any local side projects, I guess, that you collaborate with?
Well, Marianne's one of them.
Okay, yeah, great point.
Yeah, Marianne's one of them. You know, we all bring in music and we work out arrangements. We just worked out a couple of really nice arrangements. Arrangement for Boys of Summer. That's really beautiful.
Oh, the Don Henley, Voice of Summer? Yeah.
And one for True Colors. As like a 6/8 ballad,
Which,
really
as I play
gorgeous.
Elsa, I now know True Colors, unfortunately, as the Troll song.
Ah,
which
really?
is, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't have kids myself, but kids now, they don't know who the real artist. Like Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling is also the Troll song, in case you're wondering.
Oh, no, I didn't
These are
know
all the
that.
Troll
Okay, there you
songs.
go.
So, True Colors, though, obviously.
Yeah.
The original.
So yeah, so we, you know, so that's one of the projects that I'm involved with.
Do you how do you approach it, like original pieces versus covers? Is it nicer to be able to play a cover now and then and put your own spin on it?
It is. I mean, there's a certain, I won't call it artistry, but there's a certain technique, a certain, you know, a certain joy you get from taking something that's already existing and trying to reimagine it.
Yes.
You know, which is really great. Some people aren't really fond of that, but I think it's great.
Oh, I think it's a fun exercise.
Oh, me too.
Especially at some point, when you're playing for a living and playing for yourself for fun, it must be a nice release to switch it up.
Yeah. Well, you know, but I know someone who remained nameless was like.
Let's make sure they're not watching.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's like why change it? It's perfectly good the way it is. Why change it?
Yeah, that depends, but I think it draws a lot on what you were saying earlier when you were talking about how heavily influenced you were by certain players, but at some point you step away and you have to find your own voice, you know, and your own sound.
Right.
And so it's a good marriage of both to be able to emulate a little, but do your own thing. So let's see if we have any other questions. A lot of people popping in to say hello. Maria Drader is on. Shout out. Thanks everyone for joining us, by the way, making this show such a cool success so that we can have awesome guests like Scott here with us today. So again, we're at Local Live at Making Music in downtown Frederick. Come and see us on Saturday for the Rock and Roll Yard Sale. In the meantime, if you don't mind, I think we'd love to hear another piece.
Sure.
If you want to do another performance for us.
Okay, great.
Not to put you on the spot, but you're literally on the spot, right?
Yeah, right. Unfortunately, I don't have to use a looper on this one.
All right.
So, I have to deal with these recalcitrants.
That was awesome.
Thanks, man.
Well, so thanks again for joining me today,
Oh, it's
Scott.
great to be here.
It was wonderful, and
It's fun.
thanks. We really loved having you. Again, we're at Making Music in downtown Frederick, and this is our guest today, Mr. Scott Ambush, and hopefully we'll be seeing him on Saturday at our Rock and Roll Yard Sale.
And get out to see Vinyl Rhino.
That's right. Oh yeah, we're playing at Champions this Saturday.
This Saturday?
Night. Yeah, so after you
Oh.
bought some new gear at the Rock and Roll Yard Sale, come over
There
to
you go.
Champions and have a drink to celebrate
There you go. That's the plan.
your new stuff. So thanks again, and we will see you next time on Local Live when our guest will be Marzi Maddox. So thanks everyone. Have
Bye,
a good
guys.
day.